Okay, let's start at the beginning. The devil. The devil is usually a temptation of some kind. And usually the devil shows up when you have either broken a habit, thinking of breaking a habit, leaving a relationship that no longer works, but it's something that's toxic and caustic to you that just doesn't work. So it could be an addiction as well. The devil shows up when, you might be been sober for 5 years and then all of a sudden, you want to drink again. So that's what the devil does. The devil shows up. Um, you've got a lot of people around you, and you also have the Six of Cups here, which is communication from the past or connection with a loved one from the past. Could be an ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend type of thing, ex-wife, ex-husband. So the devil, I'm having a feeling that it may be kind of an ex coming into your life going, hey, remember me? Let's go party. But the devil, it's just a test. Sweet Sag, it is just a test. What you do with that test is your business. But it does look like if you passed it by that it would be more beneficial, shall we say. What crosses you is the Ten of Wands, is really adding, you've been really adding to your responsibilities. And it does look like you're taking on more and more and more of other people's responsibilities that really have no bearing on you, and it's just going to make you sick. It's going to just add to your load and slow you down on your personal growth and journey. So it is crossing the world here. So it may be an ex coming into your life going, oh, come back, come back, come back. And of course, it's an ex or they'd be there. So the burden, it feels like, is too great with whatever the test is, whether it's drugs or alcohol, whether it is a past relationship, whether it is, going back in the past of some kind, does not feel like it's beneficial. And you need to release all that and move forward, because you've got a lot of good stuff coming up here and a lot of real big conversations, it looks like. Look at swords, 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 swords. Holy cow. So yeah, looks like you need to have some conversations, Sweet Sag. All right, Two of Swords here. Now the Two of Swords, it talks about balance, but it also talks about being defensive and covering your heart here. And it's right above the devil. So it may be an ex coming back into your world going, hey, pick me, pick me, pick me. We were great. It doesn't look like you were that great. So, of course, you have free will, but it does look like that will be more detrimental to you than the journey that you have been on. So the Two of Swords kind of dictates, with this blinder here, kind of dictates, pull that blinder off and see the world as it truly is. See the situation as it truly is, and speak your truth based in what you see, not what someone else tells you. So it does feel like there's a little bit of illusion there, whether someone is lying to you or whether you're just not looking at it for what it truly is. Pull that blinder off, take a look at it before you make any grand decisions. All right, the Seven of Swords here. The Seven of Swords is really about fear, really about theft, betrayal, someone presenting something to you in a dishonest way, taking something of yours. It is right next to the devil, so it just does validate, once again, whatever is tempting you is really not healthy for you. And it does feel like it's more of the same. It has not evolved. It has not changed. It is more of the same, no matter what is being presented. Whether it's your boss wanting you to take this job that you turned down, and you know why you turned it down. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a heart space or a drug space, but it is something from the past that is revisiting you that is not healthy to go back. Knight of Swords here. And the knights are motion, and the swords are clarity and communication. Can be intellect too. So it does look like you've got to really think about some things and start communicating around this situation, whether it works for you or not. But it does look like the armor is on there pretty tightly, so it does look like be very clear with your boundaries as you are presenting your words with love and kindness. But really be very clear with your boundaries. Be very clear of what you want to have happen out of the situation. The sun is here. This is new beginnings after all this caca is out of the way and you've had those really uncomfortable conversations. Boom, new beginnings. This is like exalted creations. This is like your manifestations coming into the physical form. These are, you know, these might be the bright ideas that you've had that you need to develop on your own instead of sharing them with someone else. But it does feel like new beginnings, things that you've wanted to do for a while. You will have the opportunity coming up. It is in the future position. So in the near future, it does look like you will have some opportunities to make those changes and start those projects. And it does feel like they are based in the creative essences. So it could be healing work. It could be, you know, writing, art, but it is something from your creative mind being shared with the world. The King of Swords here is here. He's very stoic. He kind of takes the high road of things. He also is very clear with his words. This can stand for a person, but because you have so many swords here, I would say this does stand for needing more clear communication and you collecting information, getting clarity before you put some of this stuff out in the world. Trust your words, trust your intuition over anyone. You know, the king is an exalted being. He stands for integrity, doing the right thing. And really, he's in the higher levels of thought. So it may even be conferring with someone, even getting some advice to get that clarity. So, you know, it keeps coming into my mind that you may need some advice from a lawyer, although I do not see the legal card or the imbalance, the imbalance card of the legal stuff, but it is coming smack dab in the middle of my head that you may need to consult a lawyer before you start whatever your new endeavor is, to get total clarity before you start the journey. The Queen of Swords is here. This does feel like a person. This can be a man or a woman. This is an air sign: Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. This may be the person that you are conferring with to start projects, or to, you know, you might be writing a book, starting a dance class, starting a journal. But it does look like that there was a bit of collaboration. You know, the Queen of Swords, she's very clear with her words. She gets right to the point. She can be a little cutting sometimes. But it does look like this dove of peace is on her shoulder here. So it does feel like a sense of freedom will happen after some of these communication takes place, that it will free you up from some of the thoughts that have been holding you back from things. But it does feel like a collaboration with someone that is of great integrity. You know, queens, they cut through the jive. They get stuff done. They collect information. They're kind of the collectors and the great thinkers. It doesn't necessarily have to be a woman, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but this does feel like some kind of collaboration with an air sign. So get some more clarity before you sign any papers, before you make any big agreements. Get some more clarity, whether it's a lawyer or a mentor or something like that. But it does look like you need some more information before all this can be set in stone. The Page of Cups is here. Now, pages are messages. They can be children too. So this change can affect children as well. So getting clarity, crossing the T's, dotting the I's before anything happens won't upset the children. But for the most part, pages are about messages, and cups are messages of love. They can be marriage. They can be engagement. So you might be getting an invitation to a wedding. It doesn't necessarily have to be your own, but it also can mean take an emotional risk as well. And this may be an emotional risk. Maybe you need to take a step up in your love space and open up your heart, or release a relationship that is no longer serving you. So it does feel more like taking an emotional risk. Speak those words of love. Speak the words that will make those changes, whether you're in a relationship, creating one, or releasing one. It does look like some communication needs to be happening, and it does look like it's in all aspects of your life, Sagittarius. Six of Cups is here. Cups, again, are emotions. Sixes usually is when, I like to call it, the ghosts of girlfriends or boyfriends past come visiting. But it does look like some communication from someone that you loved from the past. They may be checking in with you. But it does, and it's right next to the communication right here. So you may be getting an email, a letter in the mail. You might get a check from somebody that owes you money from the past. But it does feel like a positive thing, and it is someone that was held in your heart of the past. The Hierophant is on the left side here, and sometimes he can be really stuck in his traditions. So don't be afraid to jump out of some of those traditions that you had. Be a little lighter on yourself and others. Sometimes when we're a little stickler for how we want things done, it doesn't get done either at all or the way that is more beneficial. So go with the flow a little bit more. The Hierophant is here to remind us of our traditions, but not to get so stuck in them that we can't create new ones. So it does feel like some of the traditions of the past are weighing you down a little bit. The World is next to you here. That's the highest card in the deck here. That means the world is open to you, basically. Be open and ready to receive your next step, because it does look like with all this communication that's happening, it will propel you into the world, whether it is being visible to the world in like media, social media, or it's just propelling you into more of your desires and your talents. But it does look like new things are opening up for you, and part of your purpose here on the planet is being revealed to you more and more. But it does look like some really heavy conversations have to happen. And if you don't do it, Spirit will do it for you. So I encourage you to speak those words of love and kindness, make those changes, set those healthy boundaries for yourself, and then you can move into this world space kind of free of the past. So that is what I'm picking up for you, sweet Sagittarius, for the month of October. I'm going to throw a couple of the, alrighty there. I'm going to throw a couple of these chakra cards. I like these. These are one-word cards. They bring it on home, and they're very colorful. So it does look like the power of prayer needs to either be reinstitutionalized in your world, or meditation, or just finding that safe contemplation space so you can work out and move some of this energy that needs to be moved. Create those conversations that need to happen. Grief is here, so it does look like you may have been stuck in grief for a little bit. That can be either love betrayal. This could have been love betrayal. This could have been theft, gossip, any of the lower level stuff, or it could be even as base as you're grieving someone who has transitioned into death. But it does look like grief and prayer are a really big part of what's going on for you right now, and actually both will help you find that balance that you're looking for here to release.